Hey guys, welcome back to another Uncle Ray's Corner. With me as always is Jean-Paul Mantilla. I guess he's over there. Hey, what's happening?
No, not much. Another fun-filled day.
Right on. This is episode 3. We're going to be discussing Curdled, 1995, starring William Baldwin. Let me give you the rundown. Here we go. Curdled is a 1995, uh, I guess you would call it a crime thriller, I guess. Uh,
Sure.
starring starring William Baldwin, Angela Jones. Quentin Tarantino is the executive producer. The movie follows a Colombian immigrant named Gabriella who is obsessed with a violent crime, particularly the blue blood killer. And she takes a job as a post-murder cleaner to uncover evidence that the police overlooked. Um, Actually, it looks like it came out in 1996. I apologize. September of 1996. Clocks in at 88 minutes. Had a budget of 2.3 million, and it only brought in a box office of $49,000, which is disappointing. Um, the plot is basically pretty simple. Gabriella is obsessed with the blue blood killer. She takes the job as a cleaner of murder, post-murder uh, locations. She discovers some evidence. The blue blood killer, played by William Baldwin, is trapped in a room in the house she cleans. He watches her. He starts to become a little obsessed with her during her time of cleaning. And it turns out that Gabriella has more than just a fascination with murder. Um, quick, some quick things here. Gabriella is played by Angela Jones. Um, looks like just a little neat thing. She attended the Oslo Conservatory for Performing Arts in Sarasota, Florida. She was cast in the short film version of this film in 1991, directed by Reb Braddock. Quentin Tarantino was impressed with her performance and created the role of Esmeralda Villalobos in Pulp Fiction, inspired by her work in the short film. Tarantino produced this remake and immediately thought of her to star, obviously, because she did such a great job. A nice side note is that in Slash, the guitar player, Slash's biography of 2007, he mentioned while recording the soundtrack for the film Curdled that he had a brief relationship with Miss Jones, and the song Obsession Confession he wrote for her, which is featured on this soundtrack. The director and writer is Reb Braddock. He is now the Dean of Florida State University College of Motion Picture and Arts. And he only ever did 3 films. He did Curdled, a film in 1989 called Offerings, and an independent film called Lethal Justice, as well as the Curdled short film. Do you have anything to add, sir?
Well, I mean, you kind of nailed it on that, but this did start as a short film. From the research I found, Tarantino was attending a film festival, and towards the end, they showed a whole bunch of shorts, and as he was getting up to leave, he was just like, yeah, I'm kind of done with all these films. Something grabbed him right away, and he fell in love with this short and said, you know what? I'm starting a new production company. I'm going to snatch this up. And in the meantime, while he was trying to broker the deal, he loved this actress so much that he put her in Pulp Fiction.
Correct, yes. Real quick, it's actually the distribution company he created is called Rolling Thunder Pictures. He also started the production company A Band Apart, which you've probably seen on all of his films, as well as they had a joint venture with Miramax. Now, Rolling Thunder Pictures was created in 1995 but closed in 1999, and they put out quite a few films during their little run. The Beyond, which was a re-release, Grindhouse release. These are all re-releases under that label. The Chungking Express,
Which
Detroit
was
9,
nominated for Academy Award.
yep, Detroit 9000, The Mighty Peking Man, Sonatane, and my personal favorite on this list, Switchblade Sisters, which I saw, which was pretty great. The label also released the independent film's Hardcore logo And Jet Li filmed The Fist of Legend, which went directly to DVD. It ended, like I said, its run in 1999, but I remember thinking this was a very cool thing that he was doing to try to promote his, favorite grindhouse films.
Yeah, when I worked at a video store,
So, yeah.
these were fun tapes that came in because we would always get the screeners for them first. I think you also forgot to mention the Street Fighter series, not the video game, but the Street Fighter movies, and not the Street Fighter that most people know. They're old Hong
Kung
Kong
Fu.
movies. Like
But I
Street
didn't
Fighter
see them. I didn't see them on his list, so I'm not sure if he released them under that.
Yeah, no, I
umbrella.
thought he did it because
I don't know.
I
It's
used to
not.
have one of them.
So it's not on the list, so that's pretty
he,
cool.
he even mentions some of these movies. I
In
forget,
True Romance.
and True Romance, exactly.
Mhm.
So it's like it's kind of callback, and I guess from what I know, he kind of did this as a side project of way to fund also more money into his projects because he would buy them on the cheap because they were either out of print or never released here in the U.S. and just bought the rights for him to do it. But the nice thing about these releases that he did was every time he would do, a grindhouse movie or an old Hong Kong exploitation film, he would do a little quick intro about them, and I thought that was really cool because that kind of gives you a background. And Tarantino likes to talk and gives you a nice background into cinema. But this movie in particular, I thought was spot on. I think it didn't do well, box office wise, because I think it was only released in L.A. and New York. I don't think it was a wide release, but it was a wide VHS release. I mean, I think most people, if they pull this up, they'll know that cover and be like, why does this look so familiar to me? Because it was in a lot of video stores because it was cheap.
I'll insert the cover in here so people can see it. But yeah, you've definitely seen this sitting on horror shelves across. If you're a video store, if you ever walked into a video store from '99 on, you've seen this cover. And yeah, let's talk a little bit about the movie itself. I really enjoyed this. I hadn't watched it since probably the early 2000s. I used to have a VHS of this, and with that cover, I wish I still did, but I don't. But rewatching it, it is a solid film. Like it has some great acting. If you hold on a second here, I can pull up the cast list. You've got Barry Corbin, who you guys have probably seen in about 1,000 movies from the 80s and 90s. He was in No Country for Old Men, Stir Crazy, Urban Cowboy, War Games. Most recently, he's in Tulsa King and Yellowstone and The Ranch. He is a amazing actor. He was a trained Shakespearean actor, which is crazy, but he's a character actor from the 80s and 90s and 2000s. And Barry Corbin puts on a really great performance in this small little role. He's in charge of the cleanup facility, the company that goes to clean up, and he can spot this girl coming. You know what I mean? Like, she has a very childlike way about her, and that's primarily from the beginning of the movie. The movie opens with her seeing a person fall to their death, and to me, I took that as she was stunted in her development from that point on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's childlike in wonderment of these murders. She wonders how they work. Like, right, what does a murder look like up close? And Barry Corbin can see her. He calls her a gore hound, basically. And the other lady she works with definitely doesn't like her. But there's some great, strong performances. And like I was telling you when we were talking earlier about this, there's a dance performance at the end of this movie where she's recreating the murder that probably happened to salsa music that I think is just some brilliant filmmaking. What do you think?
I mean, that is a epic scene in this movie, but you glazed over one of the coolest actresses there is in this movie.
I didn't
that
glaze
most
over
people
her.
don't realize, and that's Daisy Fuentes.
Yeah, I didn't glaze over her. I saw her and I was like, oh, cool.
Oh, come on. Daisy Fuentes was. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm a Hispanic, so here we go.
Wait,
Daisy
you're
Fuentes.
Hispanic?
I am Hispanic. Yeah, Daisy Fuentes is one of the most prolific Latina actresses of her time.
Oh,
So she
really?
got. Yeah, she was. She was in a bunch of soap operas
Oh,
in the 80s and 90s, and she made her big fame on MTV,
yeah.
becoming an MTV VJ.
I was gonna say I remember her from MTV. One of the many beautiful ladies they put on there to entice you to stay on the channel. Um, but I never thought she was that great of an actress, and she's really not in this either. That's I didn't glaze over. I just forgot she was in it. Like
This
that's
is a
how
small role for her, but yeah,
unmemorable she is
she's
in this.
been a bunch of Hispanic movies. So yeah,
But yeah, she's in this. Like I said, all the ladies do their part well. Their job is to come in, try to train this girl, and show her the ropes. I mean, that's pretty much right.
yeah,
Well,
show the ropes.
talk me through a little bit though. When you rewatched it, what were your feelings as an adult watching it? Like I said, when I saw it when I was younger, Quentin Tarantino had many other things with his name on it that I liked more at that time. So I don't think I appreciated this as much as I do now.
So I mean, a fair point. This movie did not get the critical praise that it probably should have,
Hmm.
but I also think it was kind of a little out there for most people. This wasn't a. I mean, I think watching it now, most people have now seen shows like Dexter and shows that kind of give you the eye of the serial killer and the obsession with serial killers, especially with true crime dramas and true crime TV and that kind of stuff.
Right.
So in the 90s when this came out, we didn't really have a whole lot of that. So, and if we did, we'd have shows like Inside Edition and Hard Copy and stuff like that, and people were like, "Oh, that's spooky and almost taboo." This movie was also a little bit taboo in that sense that people were like, "I don't know about this." If you honestly read a lot of the reviews that were back then, it was just like they thought it was too much shock value to shock value. It was overuse of blood, overuse of like stuff that didn't make any sense back then. This now movie could fit perfectly in anything that's out there or has been out there in the last 10, 20 years or so.
Right.
So,
And just to parrot your critical reception, the film received negative reviews upon release. Right now, it has a 17% rating on from critics on Rotten Tomatoes. Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times, who I revere, he gave the film 2 out of 4 stars, saying that the film is not very interesting, but praised Miss Jones's ability to play a tricky role with the right note of deadpan delight, which I thought was a nice way of saying that she did a very good job. So also we forgot to talk about the connection to From Dusk Till Dawn, right?
yeah, so this does have, oh, good old John Travolta's wife that passed away, Kelly Preston.
Kelly
But
Preston.
reprising her role in From Dusk Till Dawn as being a kind of like hard copy reporter, which I think the show was called something else, and now it's called Miami DOA
Yeah.
in this. So it's really cool. It also reminds me of another Tarantino story, which is Natural Born Killers, that has that whole aspect of the media kind of trying to pull people in, which, again, you look at it now, we have so much of that kind of stuff saturated in the market that it's like, oh yeah, that totally makes sense. 1996, 95, whenever this movie came out, that was not as much. So I mean, seeing it now in the now eyes, it's definitely like hits it harder. But I always liked this movie not just because of the really good acting in it, but I thought just the way it was shot. There's so many really cool looking shots in this movie.
Right.
Even the way the murder scenes happen are really neat. And also looking at it now, I thought, you know what? I wonder if she's actually the serial killer and not Baldwin.
That's a good point because the movie, spoiler alert here, if you don't want to be spoiled, take a beat and come back. But at the end of the movie, she's obsessed with how the killer beheads the victims and whether or not the heads talk when he takes them off. And there's a scene at the end where she's holding, from the point of, we get the point of the view of the killer being killed by her, and she's holding the head up, so we're looking at her face, and we hear some dialogue. And she's just crazy enough to that would be a cool thing that they did if that's true, you know?
And see, the only reason why I
Yeah.
believe it a slight more is there's the post-credit scene in this movie. Yeah, boys and girls, there's a post-credit scene back in 1995.
Yeah.
Oh,
Marvel didn't invent that shit.
that's right. Skeletor did.
That's right. He-Man.
1987. But anyways, yeah, there's a post-credit scene where because she recorded what was happening with a cassette tape, yeah, boys and girls, that's a new one.
Yeah.
She plays it for her friend in a car, and it's just kind of, it's almost eerie, like, here, I'm confessing to you, now you're next. And that's kind of why, like, looking at it now, you could kind of believe that maybe she could be the serial killer. Because, heaven forbid, there'd be a woman serial killer. Also, the fact that while she's cleaning and telling the story to her friend about what happened, she's like, well, this isn't the killer. He didn't behead this victim. So, which also gives you that other aspect of like, wait a minute, she knows the serial killer firsthand in that regards. Not only does she study it, but then, okay, what if Baldwin is also a serial killer and she's the actual, Blue Moon, what was it again?
Blue Blood Killer.
Blue Blood Killer.
Yeah.
So, who beheads their victim. Because she does behead the victim.
Yeah.
So it's kind of it's an interesting way to interpret this movie, but yeah, it does surprise me that it has such a low score, and that other people haven't rewatched this and even reviewed it to give it a higher score.
I think you're right because I think that's what one of my problems with the score in general is I have seen movies that are way worse than this, in my lifetime. There's no need this to be a 17%. That's just insane. So I think it's held at a different standard for that time period. Because, like, I'll scream to the rooftops, the 90s had some well-received movies. And it's crazy that some of these lower independent movies have such low scores. I just feel like it's a snapshot as to how much higher we held these movies in standards. Because this is good. William Baldwin isn't a great actor. I don't think I'm, talking out of school, right? Like,
No.
He's never been great. He's a decent actor in some stuff. In this, he was adequate. They needed like a guy. I feel like if they had somebody that had a Christian Bale gravitas, this would have been a much better received movie. Because when William Baldwin needs to be menacing, he's not very menacing in this, Like, I never really believed that she couldn't get away from this guy if she wanted to, But he does have some good little looks, and he did take time with the character and developed him. So I'm not saying that he didn't do a good job. I'm just saying that I don't think that he had for what this movie should have been in the budget, they should have got somebody with a little bit more acting chops, I felt. But yeah, so the end of the movie carries weight, but it's mainly her performance. That's what you are coming into this for. And I think that this movie should have been higher based on just that alone, So
I agree.
And it's darkly funny too. Like, this movie is really funny when it probably shouldn't be. Too, so.
Well, and that again, that goes back to that whole thing. Like I was saying, it's a little before its time because, really, honestly, dark humor and that kind of stuff, and centering about death and murder and those kind of things that people kind of joked around it. And around this time, probably not many movies did that. So I think that's also another reason it would have been off-putting to people at its time. Um, but again, it's definitely one that people should rent. I mean, it's available to rent, so
And now from
yeah,
investigating this, I know that Slash did the soundtrack, so I'm going to have to look that up
yeah.
again too. So, pretty cool stuff. Any final thoughts on your end on the movie?
I mean, final thoughts. I want to find the short film to kind of compare them both, see how much what it got expanded, what didn't. I imagined a little bit more of the serial killer, but all in all, I mean, this is a pretty solid movie. Um, Definitely worth your time, especially now for sure. Um, I'll go into my rating of it. It's probably, I would say, a B. It's a solid B in regards. I think Baldwin's acting kind of makes it a little slow. There are some parts that I do wish they developed the characters a little bit more. I like the connection from Dusk Till Dawn. That made it really kind of really cool. And yeah, for being an independent movie, it's definitely worth it.
Okay, cool. I agree. I believe you can get it on. You can watch it on some streaming services. You'll, I mean, Apple. I think Amazon. Was it on Tubi? I can't remember.
It's not on TV. Yeah, no. This is
Okay.
one that you got to
Yeah,
video on demand, but it's like
but
$4.
it's worth your time and money. As a horror fan, I put on my Camp Crystal Lake shirt for this one. I have to say it's definitely one that I would say fits into that category of horror comedy, horror thriller. So it has the crime scenes are horrific. We don't see a lot of kills, but the ones we do see are kind of cool. It's, like you said, shot well. I love this actress, was great in it. I have nothing but good things to say about this movie. It's been a 20-year gap since I've seen it, and I even appreciated it more as an adult. So I'd say B plus for me. So this is a Ray McGuff recommends. That's a little snapshot for you. And yeah, check this one out. You're going to love it. So on to our next and final segment for this episode. This is going to be called HorrorHound Weekend, a road trip. So Jean-Paul and I went on a road trip to Cincinnati last Friday, and we saw the horror acolytes come out, and we were at HorrorHound Weekend. We saw a lot of cool people. We're going to talk about it here briefly. The road trip from, we're in Columbus. From Columbus to Cincinnati was an hour and 44 minutes. We had some good talks on the way there. We missed our exit, looped around, got caught in a little traffic, got to the convention center, and then old Uncle Ray had to take the restroom break real bad. And so we had to find our way into this place without getting in line because there's no way I could have waited. And old John Paul took the initiative and got us in. We got our upgrades because of that. He had his old man cane with him and talked his way into getting us a rate, and we got into the VIP section. And then our night took off, and I'll let you pick it up from there, Jean Paul.
Yeah, so like you said, I found a way to get us in a little bit early, which was really nice. And I was really excited, for the celebrities that were going to be there. So I was looking forward to meeting good old Henry Winkler, the Fonz. Hey. And
he was also in Scream, for those of you that
Scream
don't know.
And Barry.
And Barry, yeah. And Adam Sandler movies. So
that's right, Coach Klein.
Coach Klein.
So, yeah, so we got there right away. We made friends like we tend to do, just talking to people in line.
Yeah.
Met a very nice gentleman who, because Randy acted like he'd never been to a horror convention.
I was trying
to
be nice to him. He really wanted to tell me about it, and he seemed like a nice guy. I just
You're
didn't.
you're just a kind soul.
Yeah, I
You
didn't.
made new friends,
I
and
didn't want to
we
go.
always make new friends. It's good to make friends.
Exactly. I didn't want to go. This is my first. This ain't my first rodeo. But I
Yeah,
let him. I let him tell me about it, and I was like, "Oh, thanks, appreciative." And we ran into him and his mother a couple of times. They were both very lovely people.
yeah.
My favorite part of this story, though, is we're in line for Coach Klein for Henry Winkler, and we start to hear chatterings he might not arrive. Right, Jean Paul?
Yeah, so because I also made friends with the staff there, as they were coming in and coming out, one of the guys talked to one of the security guys, and he said, "Hey, man, I don't think he's going to come out until 8:30. We think his flight has been delayed." At this point, it is like 5:40, and you got yourself out of line to kind of just take a quick break,
Yeah.
because I finally met my good new friend from Facebook, Horror Fan Andy.
Horror Fan Andy. Shout out to Horror Fan Andy. What a nice kid. I liked him a lot. Great guy. Very
Yeah.
knowledgeable on a lot of stuff, and just super cool to hang with.
And he still amazes me with his age and everything and how awesome he is. But anyway,
Yeah.
so we're in line. And you got out of line, and, they said that. And he's like, "Oh, well, I'm going to have to get out of line and call my friends." I'm like, "All right." And before you got out of line, I said to you, "Look, if this is going to be the case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait here another 15, 20 more minutes in line to where they do, as a courtesy, at times at these conventions, they'll start counting people in line and say, here's their number, we go on the honor system, come back around this certain time, we will place you back in line where you're at." Which is nice, because, it doesn't create a madhouse.
Right.
And so Andy gets out of line to call his friends, and I'm still in line, and out of the corner of my eye, I hear, "All right, folks, Henry Winkler." So I turn around, and there he is. And there went my hand, and I shook his hand right away. I was the first person in the convention to shake his hand.
Now the cool part too for me was I had turned around while I was talking to you, and so he just appeared like, Jesus appearing after Easter, or he was just there, and I'm like, and my brain didn't register. I'm like, holy shit, there's Henry Winkler, and I turn around and you're just like, and then he like shook his hand. He walked right by. He tapped me on the shoulder though, like he patted me to walk. Cause
Or he was
walked
trying to
around.
get you out of the way.
Yeah, and I stepped out of the way, but I was nice of him. But he gave me the touch, and now I have a lot more cool. So I'm very cool now.
Now you can go, "Hey, touch."
Hey, but while I took a little hiatus from the line while you were waiting, I've moseyed on over to the Terrifier tables, and I spoke with Damien Leone, writer director of all the Terrifier films, and I got Terrifier 3 signed. He said, "Stay terrified." But he was a super nice guy. I talked to him for quite a bit. It was kind of cool. His line didn't have a whole lot of people. John Paul was telling me that he thought some people might be mad at him for something. I don't know. But his line didn't have a lot of people, so he chatted with me. This was funny. He says, "Which one of these are your favorite?" And I'm getting part 3 signed because it had a slipcover. Part 2 I have is steelbook, and those are always a pain in the ass to get signed. And part 1 is just like your classic cheapo Blu-ray. I'm hoping to get an upgrade someday. So anyway, so I told him, I go, "Look, I loved part 3. I thought it was a really good time, but part 2 is fucking amazing." And then he agreed with me, which I thought was really cool, because I was like, part 2 has the start of your new storyline, some tremendous acting by an actress I'd never seen before in anything, some great kills, and it was shot really well too. Like, it looks really cool, and you have that whole cool Art the Clown hell scene, and he was like, dream sequence, and he was really appreciative and kind with his time. He gave me a nice fist bump, so I just wanted to say that guy's a cool dude. So
Yeah, so, well, when I got finally through the line of Henry Winkler and I met him, I got my picture taken with him and got some stuff signed, and he was also really just so kind to all of his fans. I mean, There was a VIP person who cut in front of me in line because, hey, they're VIP, they can cut, that's fine, I've got no worries. But it was a cosplayer of The Nightmare Before Christmas, and she was all dressed up and dolled up and everything. And he was just so kind and just like talking to everybody, like, how did you make it? And all. I just thought, man, that's just so cool. That just shows like what a stand-up guy he is and everything. And he also, he apologized right away to the crowd for being a little late. And I'm like, it's 5:40 or so. I don't think you need to apologize. I mean, yeah, if you would have been 8:30, that would have been a different story. But, and then he explained about how all the proceeds, if you do buy his book, it's going to education. I don't know if you've heard, but they wanted to fund the Department of Education or something. I don't know. I don't want to get too political, but
yeah. So his a lot of people, the bigger, older actors and actresses, their stuff was going to charity, which was really cool. So Linda Blair had the Pet Rescue Charity. His was education. I think Lorraine Bracco had one too. I can't remember what it was now off the top of my head, but so yeah, very cool. So
like I said, it was a great time, and
we walked around, and I purchased some stuff. I got Texas Chainsaw 2 on 4K. Oh, look at that cover! Beautiful.
Yeah,
It's a beautiful set. Comes with a booklet, the original poster, really awesome. And then I went old school, found a guy selling VHS tapes, and I got Texas Chainsaw 3 Leatherface on VHS to add to my VHS collection. How cool is that? It's pretty badass. And then kicking myself because I spent money. I wanted to get Lorraine Bracco's signature, and then she wasn't at her table, so I spent a bunch of money. And then I came back and she was there, and I didn't want to put my money on a credit card, put it on a credit card. So my whole rest of my night was me going, don't put any more shit on your credit card. Don't put any shit on your credit card. You brought cash, you spent it, your game's over. And I saw these really cool collectible things. What were they called, John Paul? Do you know?
They're shadow boxes.
Shadow boxes. They're so fucking cool. There was a line. These people were buying stuff, and I just debated, and I wish I would have bought one of those too. I'll put some pictures up that I took. They're so cool.
But you forgot to tell the fun story about Lorraine Bracco, so I'll tell you.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Go ahead.
So we're walking around the vendor floor, and that's where they set up Lorraine Bracco and a couple of other people who I don't feel should have been on the vendor floor.
Lorraine Bracco should have been right next to Henry Winkler. I don't know what the hell was happening over there.
That blows my mind. But we're walking around, and because I have, magical charms for celebrities, apparently. I hear this lady, and she goes, damn it, I hate when, planes are delayed and my flight and all that stuff. And I go, yeah, I hate it too. And I stuck my hand out, and it was Lorraine Bracco. And what was hilarious is you gave me the look like, how are you doing this? Why did this happen again?
Yeah, it shocked me because she shook my hand too. You guys don't know, as a movie buff for the last 25, 30 years, I absolutely love her. I've seen every movie she was in. The Sopranos was a milestone for me of TV. It changed the way, it made me want to write stuff. So, like, I always dabbled in writing, but when I watched The Sopranos, I was like, I want to write my books and try to do some stuff. And I've written several books, short story collection and stuff, because of that, and because she's just so great, and she was so nice. But I know I'm like, you get the next day jitters where you're like, I should have done this or that. I probably should have just put the $80 on my credit card and got it signed, but it was so cool. I got to shake her hand and say, hey, thanks, and it was a nice moment. We're in a crowd of people, and she talked to us. It was super cool. That's the cool thing about these conventions, man. I don't think people get it, like, that don't go. You get to, like, your heroes, you put them up on a pedestal, and then you get to meet them. They're just like you. They want to talk about movies and TV shows, and they're late for delayed planes and stuff, just like you. It's so cool,
So yeah, I did not pick up anything.
Yeah, that blew my mind. Like,
I know.
You drove all that way and you didn't buy one thing.
I did not buy one thing, but
why?
I mean, I'm going on a trip and to Orlando
Yeah, but you couldn't spend $40 on something
and
just
I
to have a
couldn't
keepsake.
spend $40. I know I'm terrible sometimes, but
I don't buy
more
it.
than anything, the experience was worth it. So
Yeah.
you know, I got funny stories and stuff, and that's even better than like spending money. I mean, spent money on
Yeah.
Henry Winkler. That was
Yeah.
nice,
Right.
wonderful.
Well, I mean, I guess you did. You did. So if you hadn't have done that, you probably would have spent that money on purchases. But
Right, right.
yeah.
I
So that
mean,
was pretty cool, though.
and the stories of driving people nuts is even better. I
Yeah.
mean, I let me tell you, there's a fun fact. Uh, I like weird music, and I like to torture my friends. So, hey, on the way back, someone's falling asleep, and it's not me driving.
I wasn't falling asleep.
So who would it have been?
Yeah, I wasn't falling asleep, and your music was shit. So
Yeah, crazy
I,
mashed up music. But anyways,
I think you were trying to keep yourself awake.
I guess
That was
so.
my
I guess
theory.
so. I guess
Even after your giant ass iced tea that you had.
that's right. But I don't know the overall the whole time just going and seeing different things. Like we talked about, those shadow boxes. What made them really neat is they're one of a kind. The individual artist makes them. They're really neat. Um,
I reached
and
out to him. He's going to sell me one online or over the phone or whatever and send it to me because I was so disappointed I missed out on it. So, but I got to talk to him next week about it. So
yeah, but even like there was other art. There was all kinds of different VHS.
really cool side note too. People people dressed in costumes and they don't.
Cosplay is cool.
The really cool thing about it too, I love it. They're so cool about taking pictures with you. Like they could probably charge $5 or something. They never do. They just do it and they tell you to have a good time. It's really cool.
Yeah, and there was a cosplayer that freaked you out, and
Yeah. This
I hope that you post the picture of the individual.
I
It
don't
was this
have a
this
picture.
wonderful Vicky Luscious on Facebook. She dressed up as Longlegs and would scream off the top of her lungs.
Yeah, she was screaming like a nut.
"Daddy!"
She was screaming like a nutcase, and old Jean Paul over here wanted me to talk to her. Or I didn't even know it was her. It was a her. But I'm like, I don't talk to people who are screaming in the middle of conventions. I just don't.
I thought it was lovely. I had a great time. So we chatted about her costume and everything she does, and she's got other fun stuff on Facebook. Look her up. She was pretty amazing.
Yep.
But yeah, and the work that people do to do the cosplay and they had different round tables with different artists. It's fun going to these conventions.
It's a good time. Yeah.
It really is a good time. If you are afraid to go alone, coax one of your friends to go with you, or just go by yourself because you will make friends. That's the point. I mean, like I said, we met some random people and we had a good time.
I was taking a break while you were in line. I sat next to this older guy. He was probably in his 70s or 80s, and he plays guitar in a band, and he toured all over the United States in the 60s. And he was telling me some really cool Hollywood stories from the 60s when he was out there. So, I mean, you'll meet people. They'll want to talk, especially if you have a little bit of a personality. They like to talk to you. So, it's a good time. HorrorHound, I can't recommend it enough. They're doing some more in the fall. You should definitely check it out and go. We're going to wrap this up here. We're getting long in the tooth on the time. John Paul, what's your pick for next month?
Oh, my next pick is one of my favorite movies to recommend when I worked at a video store. It's got good old C. Thomas Howell, Jason Bateman, Jonathan Silverman, and one Annie Potts. This is 1992's Breaking the Rules.
All right.
A lot of people don't really remember this, and kind of do remember this when I tell people about this movie. It was one of the earlier Miramax movies. Actually, it was a Miramax movie before the Weinsteins owned Miramax, which was interesting. People don't realize that.
I thought the Weinsteins owned Miramax because that was named after their mom and dad, Miriam and
Yeah,
Max.
that's funny story about this one. This is one of those that they bought from HBO way after the fact, and then it became a Miramax movie.
Oh, so they changed the name of the company. I got
Yes,
you. Okay.
exactly. So anyways, it's I really enjoyed this movie. It's about friendship, and we're gonna really talk about it. It's a dramedy. It's currently streaming free on Tubi. So if you guys want to watch it and then hear us talk about it, and you put stuff in the comments, that'd be great.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm looking forward to it. I saw the trailer last night. This one slipped by me, so I've not seen this one.
it's even free on YouTube.
Nice. So check it out. Tubi's free as well. Watch it with us and let's all discuss it. As always, I thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe. Share this stuff. Share this video with your friends and family. Share it with people you don't even like. You know what I mean? Like, let's get the word out there that there's an Uncle Ray's Corner, a corner of the internet where you can come and talk and hang and chill and sit on the edge of my bed and play with my stuff. All right? So, as always, I'm Ray McGuff. Thank you
Yeah,
for watching. And you are?
Jean Paul again.
Well, you cut me off. See, I had a whole wrap up.
I cut you off.
This is the thing about I was going to do a thing and I was going to throw it to you. See how we've been doing? But you ruined it. You ruined it. But as
Right.
always, thank you for watching. Stay tuned.